What if a cartoon had already written the script for 2026? For more than 3 decades, The Simpsons has been more than just entertainment. Time after time, it's shocked the world by dropping predictions that somehow came true years later. From wild tech inventions to global crises, their track record is almost too accurate to ignore. So what's next? Could this animated show already know what's coming in 2026? Some of these predictions feel closer than ever, and a few might leave you seriously unsettled. Let's dive straight into the first one. Back in the Simpsons movie from 2007, Springfield was trapped under a giant dome. At first, it looked like pure cartoon exaggeration, a town so polluted the government had no choice but to lock it away. But looking at the world today, it doesn't feel so far-fetched anymore. Record-breaking heat waves, massive wildfires, and devastating floods are hitting harder and more often than ever. Climate change is no longer some distant theory. It's already reshaping how people live. And here's the unsettling part. If things keep accelerating, could 2026 be the year when cities start considering extreme solutions just to survive? The dome might have been fiction, but the warning behind it feels uncomfortably real. And that's just the beginning. Flying cars have always sounded like something out of a sci-fi fantasy, but The Simpsons showed them long before the technology even existed. At the time, it felt like a joke, a distant dream. Fast forward to today, and that dream is actually lifting off. Companies like Aleph Aeronautics and Xpeng already have working prototypes, while giants like Hyundai are investing billions into air taxis. Test flights are happening right now, and the race to make flying cars a reality is accelerating faster than ever. So could 2026 finally be the year the skies become our highways? Maybe we won't all be zipping through the clouds just yet, but one thing's clear. The Simpsons may have been pointing to a future that's closer than we ever expected. And if the skies really are opening up, where might humanity look to go next? In one episode, Lisa Simpson signs up for a mission to colonize Mars. At the time, it looked like one of those over-the-top gags the show is famous for. But now, it doesn't sound so impossible. SpaceX has been testing rockets designed for deep space travel, and NASA is laying the groundwork for human missions to the Red Planet. Elon Musk has even gone on record saying he believes people will set foot on Mars in our lifetime. So what about 2026? Could it be the year humanity finally takes its first real step toward living on another world? If the timelines line up, the next few years might be remembered as the beginning of a second home for humankind. But before we reach for the stars, The Simpsons may have hinted at something far stranger happening much closer to home. Remember the episode where Bart joins a boy band, only to find out their songs were packed with hidden subliminal messages? At first, it felt like a wild conspiracy parody, but when you think about it, music really does have an unusual power over us. A single melody can get stuck in your head for days. Certain beats can shift your mood almost instantly. And studies even suggest that specific frequencies may directly influence brain activity. So while no pop group is secretly training recruits through coded lyrics,
that's it. Protect the country.
It's clear that music has a pull on us far deeper than most people realize. Could 2026 be the year researchers finally uncover just how powerful this connection really is? If so, maybe The Simpsons was hinting at something bigger than just a joke. And speaking of losing control, what happens when people start preferring a made-up world over the real one? In multiple episodes, The Simpsons showed characters getting completely lost in virtual worlds, so much so that they forgot what was real. Back then, it was just another cartoon gag. But today, it's starting to look like a glimpse of the future. VR headsets are evolving fast. Apple and Meta are pushing to make virtual reality part of everyday life, not just for gaming, but for working, socializing, and even exercising. For some people, digital life already feels more exciting than the physical world. And here's the unsettling thought. What happens if 2026 becomes the tipping point, when millions of people would rather escape into a headset than deal with reality? If The Simpsons was onto something, we may be closer than ever to a future where reality itself feels optional. But VR isn't the only futuristic tech the show seemed to foreshadow. The next leap could make even video calls feel ancient. Talking to a hologram once sounded like pure science fiction, something out of Star Wars, not everyday life. But The Simpsons slipped it into their world years ago, treating holograms as normal technology long before we thought it was possible. Fast forward to now, and the tech is catching up fast. Companies are experimenting with holographic calls, 3D concerts, and even AI-generated hologram assistants. Imagine FaceTiming a friend, but instead of staring at a flat screen, they appear in front of you as a lifelike projection. If progress keeps moving at this pace, 2026 might be the year when hologram communication becomes mainstream. Once again, The Simpsons seem to see it coming decades before the rest of us. But while communication may be advancing, the show also hinted at a darker side of progress. What happens when powerful interests try to hold innovation back? One of the most infamous moments in The Simpsons was when Mr. Burns literally blocked out the sun to keep Springfield hooked on his power plant. At the time, it was a ridiculous exaggeration, but the idea behind it hits close to home. In the real world, green energy has faced constant pushback. From oil giants influencing policies to delays in rolling out cleaner technologies, progress hasn't always matched the hype. Solar, wind, and electric power keep advancing, but many say it's moving far slower than it should. So the question is, will 2026 finally be the year when breakthroughs in renewable energy push past the roadblocks of big business? Or will The Simpsons once again prove themselves right, showing that powerful interests always find a way to hold innovation back? And if energy isn't safe from being hijacked, what about the rise of artificial intelligence? Something even more powerful and unpredictable. We've all seen The Simpsons episodes where robots get a little too smart and start causing chaos. Whether it was mechanical workers rebelling or AI assistants going rogue, it was always played for laughs. But in today's world, it doesn't feel so funny anymore. AI is advancing at lightning speed, writing content, creating art, driving cars, and even making business decisions. Robots are already replacing workers in factories, restaurants, and warehouses. Tech leaders have even warned that AI could surpass human control if it keeps evolving unchecked. So could 2026 be the year we see a major shift, where artificial intelligence doesn't just help us, but starts calling more of the shots? If that happens, then The Simpsons might not just have been joking. They may have been showing us the future long before we were ready to face it. But while AI rising is one prediction, another involves leadership of a very different kind. One of the most famous Simpsons predictions showed Lisa stepping into the role of president, taking over after a disastrous administration. At the time, it felt like clever satire. But looking at the world today, it doesn't seem so far out of reach. Across the globe, more and more women are stepping into top leadership roles. The US has come close before, and political discussions keep circling the possibility. By 2026, the idea of a woman finally taking the presidency might not just be speculation, it could be reality. If it does happen, The Simpsons will have once again turned what once looked like comedy into an eerie glimpse of the future. And while leadership might be changing, the show also hinted at how technology in our everyday lives would evolve in ways we're only starting to see now. Back in the 1990s, The Simpsons showed characters using futuristic wristwatches that could make calls, access information, and control gadgets. At the time, it felt like a playful fantasy, but now, it's our everyday reality. Apple Watches, fitness trackers, and even smart rings are already monitoring our health, sending messages, and paying for coffee. But this is just the beginning. With AI-powered devices evolving so quickly, 2026 could be the year wearables become far more advanced. Glasses that replace smartphones or wristbands that predict your needs before you even realize them. Once again, The Simpsons didn't just joke about the future, they practically sketched out where technology was headed decades in advance. But not every prediction was about shiny new gadgets. Some of the darkest ones were about money and what happens when it suddenly collapses. The Simpsons has never shied away from poking fun at economic collapse. From Mr. Burns hoarding gold to Springfield falling into chaos after financial ruin, the show has mirrored real-world struggles in unsettling ways. In recent years, we've already seen signs of instability, bank failures, inflation spikes, and massive layoffs across tech and finance. And while things always bounce back eventually, history shows that downturns never stay away for long. So could 2026 bring another major financial shakeup? If The Simpsons is right, the economy might face a rough patch that feels all too familiar. Hopefully, reality won't be as chaotic as Springfield, but the parallels are hard to ignore. And as if money troubles weren't enough, the show also seemed to foreshadow another challenge, one that could affect the health of the entire world. One of the eeriest Simpsons predictions came from the episode where Springfield is hit by the Osaka flu, spreading rapidly after arriving on a shipment from overseas. Back then, it seemed like a silly parody of panic, but looking at recent history, it feels unsettlingly familiar. We've already lived through how quickly a new illness can reshape the entire world, and with experts warning about fresh strains and future outbreaks, it raises the question: could 2026 bring another global health scare? Hopefully not, but if it does, The Simpsons once again will have shown that their so-called jokes had more truth hidden in them than anyone expected. And while health might be unpredictable, technology seems to keep following the exact roadmap the show laid out decades ago. Long before Siri, Alexa, or ChatGPT, The Simpsons imagined homes run by smart assistants, machines that weren't just helpful, but almost too intuitive. Sometimes they even took control in unsettling ways. Fast forward to today, and we're already living in that world. Virtual assistants are learning our habits, finishing our sentences, and anticipating what we need before we even ask. The scary part? They're only getting smarter. By 2026, we might be talking to AIs that feel less like tools and more like actual companions, holding conversations, running entire households, maybe even making decisions for us. If that happens, The Simpsons once again won't just have predicted the future, they'll have practically described it in detail, and that prediction ties directly into their biggest one of all, the complete integration of AI into everyday life. At this point, The Simpsons isn't just making predictions, it's almost laying out a blueprint. Over the years, the show has depicted artificial intelligence woven into daily life, from robotic workers to smart homes that run everything. And looking around now, that future doesn't feel so far away. AI is already writing stories, generating art, driving cars, and even helping in medicine. But 2026 could be the year it fully crosses into everyday living. Imagine AI doctors, AI teachers, or even AI running parts of government. It sounds like science fiction, but so did smartphones once. It's both exciting and unsettling. And if history has taught us anything, it's that when The Simpsons shows us the future, it's only a matter of time before reality catches up. So there it is. From domes over polluted cities to flying cars, Mars missions, and AI running our lives, The Simpsons has hinted at a future that feels closer than ever. Some of these possibilities are thrilling, others a little terrifying, but all of them make you wonder, how does a cartoon keep getting it right? Is it just coincidence, brilliant writing, or something stranger we'll never truly understand? Either way, as 2026 approaches, maybe we shouldn't laugh off their predictions so quickly, because if the past has shown us anything, Springfield might just be tomorrow's reality.